interesting too with horror movies because like, you know, everyone looks down upon horror movies, especially people in Hollywood, because they just think it's just a bunch of bullshit, people yelling, screaming, and die, and then we collect the money at the end. Yay! You know, they're really cynical about it. And so like we had to really fight for Elena's character to like get in just these little moments, like, you know, like the opening, you see her in the car crash, and then the one moment we see how she has the bond with Lucello, like when it's right after the crash and her dad can't get to her because he's effed up, and then she's gonna die, and then Lucello, you know, breaks it and holds her, and like, you know, you get these weird nuts where it's like, we don't need that, no one cares about that. I'm like, what if you know, it's such a small little moment. It's what, like 2 seconds, and when you take it out, yeah, you may not notice, but if you put it in, it just makes you care a little bit more about them, and just, you know, and so it's hard to sometimes get those moments in there, and we've been on enough movies to know with a lot of different directors, and sort of know, like, you know, the strategies in terms of fighting for certain moments like that. And I think it often usually pays off in the end. And that's why something like I think Saw 6 worked the best, because it just sort of you understood that character, the lead character in that one, the most, and he had an emotional connection to John Kramer, really bringing John Kramer, who's the most interesting character and best actor in that franchise, like right in the middle of the plot, and that's why it was good. That's why it worked, you know. And he hadn't been there since like Saw 2, or was Saw 3, you know. And so anyway, but that was a tangent.
As for you, Emma, how did you feel about playing a part like this? I mean, this isn't a damsel in distress kind of fiction. I mean, she gets out of the box and she gets to work.
Yeah,
you know,
it was so cool reading the script. I just what an opportunity to get to play somebody so tough and who gets to save the day in some regard. So, and like Marcus was saying, you know, she learns to save herself, which is really cool. And I never had to show my tits, so.
No. Well, that was also a big thing. Like, even if her shirt would be hanging, I'd be like, no, tack that up, because this is not.
Well, there was
this is not white tank top.
White tank top.
No. And it's always the same thing. Like, okay, so I get sweaty, and then my hair's in my face, and then, but at the end, I instantly know how to use a gun, and I have the best one-liner, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not our sister. That's not our girlfriend. That's not our mom. No, real people in there. They don't show their cleavage to save the day.
Yeah, and then it helps you like, care about her.
Yes.
And, yeah, I mean, she was written so carefully. I think that it was there was a lot of pressure to serve it. And it was cool.
Did you enjoy the physicality of the role, or was it kind of like, oh, this is difficult to get through?
Yeah, both. I think I didn't get beat up as much as Josh. The duration for which you're tense is so long. And you're sort of tricking your body into being terrified, and you're shaking, and your entire body is tensed up. So physically demanding in that way, but I think more so emotionally exhausting, because the audience is experiencing the movie through your experience, and so you have to be true to that, and you can't fake. I don't think you can really fake fear effectively, or terror, or, you know, that emotion has to be very physically built into your body, and then also kind of just
like wrap it up like 5 minutes. Does that work for everyone?
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No. Also, just like ties into the emotional. It pours out of that. So.
The Collector was, you know, it's really beloved to horror fans, but it kind of got hit by a lot of the backlash against quote-unquote torture porn.
Sure.
And I was wondering if you could talk about, the process of just getting the collection going, because I mean, people were super excited about it, but it was kind of that small core. I remember locally we kind of got fucked on distribution on that, but it's like, so I mean, how did you manage to convince the studio, let us do this again, let's finish the story?
It all starts with Mickey Liddell, and Mickey Liddell, who's the L and the D at the top of the movie, that's him. He is a horror nut. And he said, well, despite any mountain we had to climb with that first movie, I want to see these characters again. And that opened the door to the freedom of changing up that structure and being like, well, are we beholden to anything? Is it in the house again? No. Imagine this is a brand new movie. Because I think it's just, yeah, we tried to hit the home run the first time. Okay, the ball didn't sail out of the park yet, but you know what? It's still coming at us. Let's hit it again. And I think that that's nice. So, okay, perhaps people get a chance to see this one. Perhaps they come in and they embrace it, and they can still discover that first story and learn a lot about this character that we redefine again, and this woman that is at his side going through the same gauntlet. Terrific. And so help us, if it is embraced, Oh, what we'll do next.
Could you guys talk a little bit about the way you ended it with Elena, in particular, all three of you, but in particular, Emma, your interactions with Josh, maybe? Because I loved that sequence at the end where she smashes the glass.
Yeah.
And it's so quiet and it's so simple, but it's just so destructive and it's so emotionally powerful when they're looking at each other over the fire.
It's, well, goodness, yeah, you go.
No, I mean, it was such, again, it was written so carefully, and, you know, he, having that contrast of when he leaves her and jumps out the window, and essentially defining her character, and this is a character-defining moment, and to, the strength of this person is really exemplified in that, I think, and it was a really cool twist, you know.
I love, there's one little shot in there that was a gift. Like, we were trying to get it because that's real fire, and that it was really hot, and it was very scary. But it's when, and you never see this, it's her hand picking up the broken man by the one that's all marred with scratches and his only way to find her. You know, and yet she had every opportunity to leave him and let the world burn and get away with it, almost conscience-free, but no. They're both different now, and she sees what's left of him. His anger cost him his life. He was dead, but no. She's going to go and grab him by that arm and pull him out. But thank goodness. And it was we're so lucky that Josh Stewart and Emma you know, trusted each other that moment could be given and split. Whereas more often than not, it's no, guy's gonna catch the burning log, flip it, throw it over his shoulder, like, you know.
There's such comparatively little interaction between the two of them, but there's still a really evocative connection between the two of them. So it's very powerful. I really liked that sequence quite a lot.
You instantly bond when someone turns up.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
The horror of life, and I thought, like, well, maybe we can find that. You know, that was great. It's
I
all
love
nice.
the relationship between, or it's not what you normally expect. You expect like a brother sister, some kind of intense we need to save them. Can you talk a little bit about your choice to give them the relationship they had?
Well, it was. I mean, that kind of all stems from Arkin. If you look at his track record with saving people, he's piss poor. Like he doesn't, he doesn't do so well. But yet he's not going to quit. And so help you. What I liked about that guy was you can hurt him, but not as much as he's willing to hurt himself to help you. And I thought, okay, well now we need a counterpart to that. And a sibling doesn't really make much sense because those conversations are so routine. You can find yourself and you can find someone you can bond with throughout the entire life. Kind of like I was thinking about my grandfather who was a merchant marine in World War II and how he would be on a boat side. He would be bribing planes with wine and chocolate to go on sneaky dates with who would be his wife. And you meet those people in those tense, horrifying environments, and then you really know, and you meet at a different level, at a soul level. And I thought, okay, if we can create that relationship, let's go for it. And it said it's going to be a lot of silence, it's going to be a lot about look, and just letting the camera hold for just a second. It won't make any sense when people are watching, go, why aren't they talking? They're just standing in a burning room. Wait till you see what our eyes do.
It's more powerful that they don't have any reason to save each other except that they're mutually going
Yes,
through this.
there's that yin and yang of life that, you know, we can pull the stranger out of harm's way, and it's a selfless act in that, and that's what was important. Trying to chase that one thing about their humanity is going to get them out of this one.
Yeah.
You guys all set?
Sure.
Get a quick picture.
Yeah, we did it.